Good afternoon, Mr. Parker. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. Can't complain too much.
All right, thank you for reaching out to me to discuss some of the issues that you've been experimenting. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
So I guess everything started kind of when I first had moved down here. Um, so I was born and raised into a hockey family. I've always played hockey. I grew up in New York. And my hockey team is just, it's always been just like who I am.
Yep.
It's been a part of me. Even going to college after high school, that transition phase never bothered me because I started a new hockey team again. And I was with those guys that I could probably consider my brothers for those 4 years that I was there.
You've basically played hockey all your life?
Yeah, I started when I was about 5 years old, starting to ice skate, and then I got real competitive into it around 11, 12 years old.
Okay.
And then after I graduated, I figured it was time to move on with my life. And I knew something about sports psychology because we had one at my undergrad.
Okay.
And I would talk to him every now and then. Nothing about like serious things that were like hindering my performance or anything like that.
Just normal,
yeah, just normal conversations.
Okay.
Just a fun guy to talk to. So he really kind of got my interest in what I wanted to do. So I applied to Barry University actually, and I liked and enjoyed what they had to offer for a sports psychology program. So I packed up and I moved all the way from New York now to South Florida. And honestly, it's kind of been a little bit of a struggle. I find myself missing home a lot.
Mm-hmm.
I see, all my friends are still back up in the Boston area where I went to undergrad.
Uh-huh.
They still all hang out together, and I'm down here, and I find myself struggling, to make friends. And, it's almost like I don't want to put myself out there. Yeah.
Have you ever lived outside of your home before this? Like any summer camps or any trips or?
I've done summer camps before, but then there's still always someone else there. I'm always with a roommate. We collectively as a camp we're together every single day. But this is the first time I've actually lived on my own. It's the farthest I've ever been away from home, and it's kind of permanent now for at least for the next few years. As opposed to like a summer camp, it's a short term thing. I'm always going home.
And you say you're living by yourself.
I am now, yes.
Is that a decision that you took, or something that you wanted to try out, or did you look for roommates at any point?
I did look for roommates to start. I reached out to the other males in the program and to see if anybody needed a roommate. Unfortunately, it didn't work out. So at the time, I was just like, okay, living on my own, this should be a good experience for myself. But I often I feel lonely a lot.
Okay. Have you considered getting a roommate in the future? Or is that off the table?
It's probably something that I haven't considered too much. I definitely think there could be something that I look into.
Okay. All right. So let's. How different is your environment right now compared to home? I mean, it's obvious weather-wise.
It's a lot.
It's a bit of a difference, but what else? What other differences have you noticed so far?
Well, I'm not used to a city feel, city life. I was born in the backwoods kind of person. My neighbors, I can't see them from my house, because there's woods surrounding me. Undergrad was kind of the same way. It was in a very small town. So moving here, granted, I'm not in the city of Miami. I'm not in one of those living in like a big high rise like I'd imagine like Boston or New York City. But it's still, everything it's clustered, it's congested. It's tough to get around, as easily. I try to go to the store that's 2 miles down the road and it still takes me 15 minutes. So there's a lot of frustration just kind of, I think, built up just in that aspect, just being in a completely new place. But the weather is great, so
You have
that's
that
a
going for
big
you.
added bonus.
What about, can you quickly describe a regular day in your life? What are you doing right now? You said you're in school. Are you
Yep.
also at work? Just talk to me about what you
Yeah.
go through on a daily basis.
So on a daily basis, what I do, so I go to class 3 times a week on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays for this semester. On the days that I'm not in class, I am at work. I work at a golf course. I've always loved golf.
Okay.
Another reason why I actually moved down here so I could play all year round. I work at a golf course. It's not the most rewarding job in the world, but it's fun. I've met some interesting people. Just clients and customers coming in and off the course.
Okay.
Um, so yeah, when I'm not at work, I'm in class. I try to go to school fairly early so I can get things done, so I can do my homework. Um, I've noticed that that's a big difference actually, because I'm not living on campus anymore.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have the easy access to the library and everything like that.
Okay.
So I go to campus early, try to get everything done that I can, and I kind of go to class, and after class, I just kind of leave and come back home.
All right. How's the relationship with you and your cohort at school?
Not as good as I was expecting. I've usually always been pretty confident in meeting new people and going out and just having conversations, but I tried that at the beginning of the first semester, and it just wasn't what I was expecting. I don't know, and then I haven't really had too many conversations with them.
All right. So it's more of you've given it a try. It didn't go the way you wanted, and it's basically you've
Yeah.
left it that way from that point
Yeah,
on.
like I try to talk, like I want to talk with them, and like have these people be my friends. I don't know. I just every single time I try, like I think about something to say, I'll try and go to say it, but after that, I kind of like chicken out, and I feel like I'd be like judged or something like that, and I just end up usually leaving. Same thing when I'm in class. When I try to speak up, I'm not as confident as I was back in undergrad.
Is it just you don't do it just because you're afraid of what the reaction would be, or that you're being judged, or that you are not confident in what you're going to say?
I feel like people would judge me a little bit
Okay.
based on what I say. I don't come from a sports psychology background,
Mm-hmm.
and learning all this new material is the first semester was kind of overwhelming. I'm not struggling with the material, but I don't know. There's just like something that's holding me back that I can't just I don't know. I feel like everyone's just gonna like look at me and be like did he really just say that type of thing?
Do you think that might change if you were more comfortable with your cohort?
I think so, and I hope so. Like I said, I want to talk to these people, but I can't bring myself to actually make conversations or go out with any of these people.
And how are they in the class? Like, is there a lot of talking, or is it just dead silence? Is nobody answering questions, or is nobody talking to you, for example?
There's always a select few, a handful of people, half a dozen that are always talking in class, and then there's the other half that usually doesn't say too much, maybe says a word here and there, and I probably labeled myself into that category. But I want to be more active and involved. I'm sorry, repeat the question.
That's fine. I just wanted to know if, like, you've mentioned that there are a few people that talk in class and give answers.
Mm-hmm.
There are people, like a selected few, that only answer from time to time.
Mm-hmm.
How do you feel when they answer? Like, are you judging them as well, or are you changing your perception of them based on whether they have correct or incorrect answers?
I'm not really judging them. Not at all. I'm kind of thinking that like, wow, wish I could step up and say something like that.
Okay.
Sometimes they do say things that I am thinking, but there's other times where they say something which something that I never would even thought of, that is relevant to the topic that we're talking about. So I think those are the thoughts when they start saying things like that, that I never even thought of myself. Then I kind of think like, well, what? Clearly I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing here, type of thing. So I want to be like them, and I'm doing my homework, and I'm reading up on everything like that. It's just when I'm in class, it's almost like I freeze.
Okay. How are your grades so far?
On paper, they're very, very good.
Okay.
But I think if you were to see me in class, you wouldn't expect wouldn't expect that from me.
Okay.
Um, yeah.
But it's important to acknowledge the fact that you are getting good grades. So you're obviously doing something right. So it's just a few more things that we might need to work on, but it's
Okay.
important to know that your results are there.
Okay.
So that's good. Tell me a bit more about things outside of class. Like what hobbies do you have, or what things do you do?
So I said I like to golf.
Mm-hmm.
I do try to golf, at least a couple times a week,
Mm-hmm.
in between my busy schedule and everything. Um, I used to I used to go to we always used to have like open ice on campus,
Mm-hmm.
and I used to just do that all the time. That was always my biggest stress reliever growing up. Was just going out, finding an ice rink, and skating, whether it be outside, inside. Because New York golf wasn't always around.
Mm-hmm.
So I kind of try to replace that with golf. I try to replace that with golf now, because I realize the demand of hockey isn't as big, but I definitely miss it. Other than that, I try to stay in shape, because I've always had the scheduled workouts and everything like that.
Mm-hmm.
So I go to the gym, and I work out, at least 4 or 5 times a week, and I play golf. So that's kind of what I do on my own time.
Okay. Um, may I ask what was the reason that you stopped playing hockey? Was it a decision that you took before you moved to Florida, or was it after you got to Florida?
Well, I played Division 3, and I knew going into college that it was never going to go past college whatsoever.
Okay.
So I knew, and I was trying to prepare myself at the end of my undergrad that it was coming to an end, and I need to move on with my life. So I tried to find something that I was a little bit more passionate about, and after the 3-4 years that I spent talking with our sports psychologist, just shooting the shit, like I realized that it was something that I was very interested in.
Okay.
So I wanted to know more about it. And part of the reason why I moved so far away is because I wanted to get away. I realized that I'm young, and I wanted to experience different parts of the country. And down here is definitely a lot more cultured than back home in New York or in Boston.
All right. Is there? Did you ever look into like semi-pro leagues or just friendly leagues, or did you just say the last game that I play in my undergrad, that's just gonna be the last?
I did come to that conclusion. Towards the end of my senior year, I was just like, when the season's over, it's over.
Okay.
I have not brought any of my stuff down here when I first moved.
Okay.
I didn't really think I would have the space for it, or the demand wasn't there.
Okay.
And I have looked into if there are any local rinks and just open hockey someplace, and there are. But like I said, I don't have any of my stuff down here, and being so far away, it's tough to ship it, and I would actually have to go back home, and I'm not necessarily sure that I do want to do that. I think for me, moving on and not having that there is, good.
It's like a turning of the
Yeah,
page kind of
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
What do you miss the most about hockey?
Oh, it's a tough question. Um, I miss I miss the culture that it comes with. I think
Okay.
the most. I think I miss just that team atmosphere, and like I said earlier, my teammates were like my brothers. Um, and just walking into the rink every day, everyone's just so like comfortable with each other, and doing workouts. We can all joke and go out, and so I miss the culture that it comes with, and there's not a hockey culture down here whatsoever. And I'm not necessarily saying that everyone. I only want to hang out with like hockey players,
Mm-hmm.
but no one really knows what hockey is down here. And they have the Florida Panthers, but I've been to a couple games and there's like 1,000 people there out of like 18,000, so it's not the same.
Yeah.
So that culture is not here, but I think that's the thing that I miss the most.
All right. Did you play with the same players throughout your career? You said you started playing when you were 5, and then you stopped once undergraduate finished.
Growing up, I around once I started getting competitive around 11, 12 years old. Yeah, I pretty much had the same core group of guys, maybe same 10. They were players that would come and go. Same like 10 core group of guys that we played with up until about high school, and then after high school we all went our separate ways, and we started all playing college. Um, and that was a tough period, but at the same time, I realized that everybody else was once I got into college, everybody else on the team, all the freshmen on the team were going through the same thing, and everybody else had gone through the same thing previous, the upperclassmen. So and then going into college, my freshman class, we were the same throughout all 4 years. We were accepting to every freshman class that would come in, and we just always made sure we made everyone feel at home.
Okay. So it's
just like they did
bring
with
them into
me,
the team
yeah,
kind of thing.
yeah.
Okay. How different is your daily routine when you look at how you were in undergrad to how you are now?
I'd say just as far as responsibilities go, I have a lot more of them. Responsibilities I've never had. I've never lived alone. I've never had to actually like go out and buy groceries, cook for myself. Just all the little things that becoming an adult that I've never had to do before. In undergrad, it was very the same routine. You wake up, I'd go to a workout, I'd go do all my classes, go to the dining hall, get lunch, go to practice, come home, eat dinner, do my homework. We would even have study hall sessions with our team because our athletic schedule was so demanding that the school provided study hall sessions for us.
Okay.
So yeah, every day was pretty much the same in undergrad.
You had a structure to it.
Yeah.
You basically had a good idea of where you were gonna be at a specific point of time.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's a bit different now.
It is very different. Yeah. Like I said, everything's a travel distance at this point. So it takes me half an hour to get to school, and I just always have to make sure that I can remember everything, and maybe pack a lunch or look for what I'm going to buy. As far as like food goes, making sure I have everything because I'm not going to want to go a half an hour there, realize I forgot something, and then come all the way back. I've done that a couple times. That sucks. Yeah, it's different.
Yeah. Getting back to hockey. Did you play a specific position all the time, or did you switch around?
I was always a goalie. Yeah.
Always a goalie.
I was always a goalie. I was that guy, and I didn't start my first 2 years because there were seniors more experienced players than me, but only one goalie does start. By my junior year and senior year, I was the starting goalie.
And even at that point, you never thought about switching positions?
Not that easy.
Okay.
No. But no, goalie. I always loved to do it. Growing up,
Why?
I don't know. I always just like being that person to that everyone could kind of like count on. I
Okay.
guess
Okay.
to save the day, because I don't know. It's just it's you back there. It's you in the net. You're
The last line of the fence.
exactly, yeah. Um, and I had opportunities when I was growing up to switch positions, but it was just something I always
You
loved. And
always
so
ran back to being
yeah,
goalie.
so it's just something I always stuck with.
Okay. We've talked about a bit about your hockey career. We talked about your interaction with your teammates.
Hmm.
Tell me a bit about your family. How's your family life?
My family life is good. I'm very close with my family. I'm an Italian.
Okay.
Well, partly Italian, but we have that Italian culture. We always have Sunday dinners. We always just eat together. We laugh together. It's we tell each other everything. We're always in each other's business. Um, so I have a very good relationship with my parents and my two older sisters.
Okay.
Um,
So it's just the five of you, mom,
it's just
dad, and
it's just the
three
five of
siblings.
us. Yeah.
Okay.
We go and visit my grandparents and aunts and uncles every now and then. But as far as people that I always go and tell everything to, it's always my immediate family.
Okay. And you all five of us, all five of you guys, lived in the same house all the time.
Yep. Growing up, yeah, same house for my entire well, I guess 18 years until I went off to college.
Okay.
At 22 years until I
Moved over here.
moved down here. So yeah, same house.
How's the relationship now that you moved away?
I talk to them a lot now. I find myself calling anybody really.
When you say anybody, also family and friends.
Family and friends,
Okay.
yeah. If I'm on my way home from class or if I'm just sitting on the couch and watching TV and maybe I'll get bored or something like that. So I'll pick up the phone and I'll call family friends frequently.
Okay. Let's talk a bit more now about sports psychology and your interest in it.
Okay.
What's your goal in the field? What do you would like to do, or where would
As
you
far
see
as
yourself heading?
you and I working together, or as far as
You working
as
with
me
your own
getting
career?
my degree and stuff. Yeah. Okay. I liked the model and example that my sports psychologist set. Working, with collegiate athletes, I think that's the ultimate goal. Is after I graduate, and even while I'm here, reaching out to some schools, whether it be Division 1, 2, or 3, or even club sports. Just getting in with them and talking with their athletes, and almost because I've been there before and I can relate to it, I think. So I think that's why I'm still so interested in collegiate athletics.
Okay. So nothing else, like no youth, no professional athletes, mostly collegiate?
I would, yeah, I think collegiate would be the most fun for me. But I am open to other experiences. Maybe not as much youth, but professional. I'd probably cut it off somewhere around high school. I don't think I would work any younger than that.
Okay. And it would be a set sport, or are you open-minded to which sport it might be?
I've always grown up watching pretty much every sport. I did used to play multiple sports until I really took control on hockey. So I'm open to working with any sports. I love the sports industry. So.
All right. So I guess we need to circle back into what are your expectations of our relationship? What are you looking to gain from our conversations?
I right now I just really find myself struggling in just almost like fitting in right now. So I'm
Go on.
hoping that you and I, can kind of work through that and kind of just get me out of this like funk I'm in, because I've never felt this way before. So
Okay.
I'm almost confused on why I am feeling this way.
Okay.
So I'm hoping that I can, be a little bit more confident in what I am doing, and speaking up in class, and trying to communicate with my classmates and everything like that, and just almost feel comfortable and not regretting this decision that I made
That's
to
you.
come down here. Yeah.
Okay. That's something that we can easily work on. That's what we would need to do is just set up times and
Mm-hmm.
amount of amount of time that we want to spend together
Mm-hmm.
working on this. But just going from what you've told me so far,
Mm-hmm.
you also have to understand that you've taken a big decision. Like it's a big change. You've gone from knowing everything that you've known, being comfortable in that environment, to moving to a different state,
Mm-hmm.
starting a new life basically as a master's student,
Mm-hmm.
dropping hockey, experiencing a weather change. So it's a lot to take into. So it's perfectly normal that you're going through these emotions that you're going through. But what we can do is just set up some goals that we want to work on.
Mm-hmm.
So I think things that we might need to look into is just confidence. I feel you're confident just
Mm-hmm.
just because by playing sports, like it's a confidence.
It's a nature thing. Right?
Yeah. So it's just trying to see what's holding you back, confidence wise now,
Okay.
because I think it's in there. It's just a matter of bringing it out, and then also trying to see what we can do to expand your environment right now. Because if
Okay.
you keep doing the same things, you're gonna get the same results.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just basically looking into what are the things we can do to expand your environment to keep you um, active
Mm-hmm.
and meeting new people. You sound like you've always have a relationship with people, so it's just a matter of creating that new link
Mm-hmm.
with the people around here. And I think it's something that we can accomplish. So if it's okay with you, we'll just meet again at the same time next week,
Okay.
and then we'll look more into confidence, how you've felt throughout your life, both
Mm-hmm.
academically and sports wise.
Okay.
And we can look into what other hobbies you might be interested in, or what other things that might pique your interest, or things like that.
Okay.
All right.
All right.
Well, I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.